Hey, Robert, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, David. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. I wanted to start with a brief meditation, about 5 to 10 minutes, if that works for you.
That works. Cool. 5 to 10.
Yeah, so I'll lead it. So just find yourself in a comfortable position. I know you said you wanted to stand, but whatever works for you.
Does meditation, does it hurt? Just kidding.
We'll find out. Sometimes they get in touch with some pain. So generally, I think people find it pretty relaxing, though. All right, so let's check my watch to make sure I'm in accordance to the time limit I said. Let's start with a few breaths. So breathing in and out. In and out. In and out. And just continue to follow your breath at a relaxed pace. And anchor your awareness to the sensations in your nose. Just noticing what that's like right now. If there's sensations of cold or heat, feelings of doership. And just allow yourself to relax into this. Allowing all other thoughts to just fall away for right now. Now is not the time for planning or scheduling. Just taking a minute or two to just be here and be aware. Allowing the flow of breath to become lighter and lighter, and just relaxing into this moment. And then, still focused on that sensation, I want to invite you to just expand your awareness across your body, starting with your feet, and over the next 2 to 3 minutes, just slowly going up from your feet to the top of your head, just feeling what it's like to have this body. And if your mind drifts away, just bring it back. Allowing yourself to relax or move as you need. And if feelings or memories come up that are trapped in that part of the body, just tell that part of yourself, okay. And then let's just express internally some gratitude, some appreciation for this body. How has it made your life more beautiful? How has it aided in getting your needs met? And just take a minute to just connect with that and feel good about that. Taking a moment to emphasize what is important to you. What need did or do you have? And appreciating how it is getting met. And then let's take this appreciative energy and extend it to what's been going on in our life recently. Whether it's something we can immediately connect to in terms of being able to be appreciative, or something that might be a little bit more difficult. Let's take a moment to look at that and just connect with how this recent event gives beauty to our life, gets our needs met. And if any part of you comes up that wants to resist it, has another reason for why we can't appreciate it, just tell it okay and let it go. And then let's take one final breath in together, breathing in and out. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and just connect with how you feel right now. If there's anything you want to share, anything that came up during or afterward, I'd love to listen. So I'm curious about what you're feeling or thinking right now.
All right. I'm thinking, damn, David's one beautiful man.
Ah, the meditation, the meditation was not as painful as we thought it could have been.
It's quite a while ago, but I used to meditate at least 4 hours a day, and I would standing meditation. So get like, the knees kind of relaxed in an area, head pulled up like a pin, pulling it up in the back. I mean, not so much like that, but just so that it either became a more comfortable way to stand or it built up lasting endurance. I don't know.
Why stand?
I don't know. I think it may have had to do with like things flowing more in the body.
For myself, in the morning, if I do like a sitting meditation that's inactive, then I will fall asleep. And so like I'll do either breath work or like moving around or something a bit yogic. Like I have this combination of chanting and stretching, which I enjoy doing, invigorates me and hinders me. It doesn't always exactly prevent, but hinders me from falling back and into sleep.
I used to do a sitting meditation as well that I don't know if I think in the beginning when I was learning how to do it, I might like doze off. But when like I learned how to do it, it felt like I was sleeping, but I was just like very clearly like just sitting there and aware. And yeah, I think the last maybe like 6 months that I was doing it, I did these meditations for years. I started getting like really extremely obvious like visuals. At first, scared the shit out of me because I didn't expect it. It was just as visual as having my eyes open.
Wow.
It scared me at first because I was like, what the hell is that? Like, you're just imagining something, but then suddenly it pops up in front of you.
Did it seem distinct? Because when you say popped up in front of you, that to me thinks like it's incorporated into what you're experiencing as opposed to being in a dream dimension.
A little bit. I'd be like having kind of a little bit of a dream where I'm imagining something, like not imagining like a guided meditation, but it's imagining like a tree or some grass. And then like this was one of the first things visualized. And then it was just as clear as my eyes open. And that probably doubled my heartbeat instantly because it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious now how much it scared me. Then I went back into it, but it took a while because my heart was just like, ah!
I think the intensity of life can be overwhelming and that we often don't experience, we almost always don't experience it even close to how it can be.
Well, do you like feeling overwhelmed?
No.
Yeah, I used to hate it. I love it now. I've loved it
Yeah.
a few years now. Yeah. Well, I think I love it now because I look at it differently. Like how does the typical person view being overwhelmed? Overwhelmed, like too much or something? Now, I would describe it overwhelmed. I don't know. When I'm overwhelmed, I don't feel like it's too much of something anymore, even though that's what overwhelmed means. I feel like I'm just aware of more emotionally now. So I've grown in a way. And like most emotions, people will want to avoid it, not feel worthy of stuff. I don't know. It depends on the person. So perhaps they don't want to feel overwhelmed.
What is that experience like for you to feel overwhelmed?
More information coming. Sort of like you're playing one of those video games where there's this rocket thing at the bottom and you're shooting, like, yeah. And things are like moving down on the screen and coming towards you and shooting little bullet stuffs at you.
Yeah.
And you got to destroy all of them and not get hit by their rockets. And then more and more of those things pop up as you advance in levels.
I thought of
That's what it feels like.
Tetris when it gets so fast that like I can't even think about where to put the piece. Like already when I'm halfway through it, it's on to the next one.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. So that is what it feels like to me. How about same for you?
So like different things are coming up. The word overwhelming and acceptance and resistance. So if I feel overwhelmed, it will be some thought about not being able to do it or trying to do something and not being able to do it. So it'll be often a thought about the future. And when I felt overwhelmed, like my process is just like to accept and do my best. But during that, it feels not good. When I'm thinking about the future and how I can solve a problem or not being unsure, I don't like that. But the acceptance part and just doing things in the moment or allowing things to become in the moment, that feels much more peaceful, certainly in comparison. Like I can be in situations where I know there's a lot to do and like a good likelihood of I can't do it all. And if I take it in that present and just doing my best and accepting like whatever will happen, like that's reasonably peaceful and enjoyable experience. But then I don't know if I would call that overwhelmed. It would depend on the definition. Certainly like the potential for more action and energy than I'm able to give, or even problems that I don't know if I can solve. Fear is another thing that comes up, being afraid of the consequences, afraid of how I'll look if I am unable to do it, or even just imagining explaining myself.
Fear is one of my favorites.
I love fear.
I like not loving it, but one of my favorites. You can have a favorite that you don't love, right? Well, the part that's my favorite is when you find out like what the fear is. Emotions are probably my favorite topic. I love to chat about it, but I love to like learn about it too.
What excites you about emotions?
It's like, not only is it discovering a whole new world kind of a thing, but it seems like an endless world of discovery, but also that emotional awareness turns out to be this, like, I don't want to say superpower, because superpowers don't excite me, but it's almost like a really useful tool. Like emotions it's like they're the wireless version of communication and learning and understanding. And children use it like crazy. So it's quite innate to us. Like I'm convinced I'd say more than convinced, convicted that every choice people make, all of the choices that people make, the reason comes from an emotion ultimately. Like it's never even logic. It's always an emotion, some emotional reason.
There's a Tesla quote about being an automaton. So Tesla had the type of memory, he could very, very much visualize things. Like in his creation, he could visualize it in his memory as if it were real. And he was able to trace back, like sort of what you're saying, like, well, why did I think the way I thought? And he said, at one point he said that every thought he ever had, or at least that he traced back, he could see it's stemming from some external stimulus.
Well, Tesla, you're wrong. I'm kidding. I'd say it's the reaction to either avoiding, resisting, or accepting an external stimulus, which ultimately has to do with emotions in you.
So tell me more about that. Like you're saying, our thoughts, actions are never logical. It's all emotional.
Absolutely.
And so I guess whether you want to look at the Tesla version of that and connect it, like, well, where do those come from again? Do they originate from an experience, an external action? And what does that process look like for you in your own experience?
Well, I'd say it's right. Excuse me. It's right to a degree that there's an external thing, right? However, whatever that external thing is, I'll give you an example, but whatever that external is, you still, no matter what, do have free will to change how you respond to an external thing. So let's say somebody's at a McDonald's. This happened to me, by the way. Someone's at a McDonald's.
Theoretical situation. Let's assume. All right, this happened to me.
and someone screams, "I'm gonna blow this effing place up." I wasn't the one that screamed that, by the way.
Yeah, good to know.
That's an external thing.
Sure.
And while the thing inside of someone, right, is responding to that, you don't have to. I mean, you might hear it. So I heard it and I didn't respond to it at first. And then I noticed like people were like freaking out and stuff. And I thought to myself, I wonder if this person is serious or if they're crazy. Like, I used to work at a psych ward. And so I walk up to the person, they're throwing their backpack down and they're just mumbling some stuff. And there's this mother with 4 kids near me, just kind of putting her hands around them and panicking, like, what the hell's this guy doing? How do we get out of here? I don't really know what she's doing, but something like that. And I'm looking over at him in his backpack. I'm getting a little closer and he's screaming, "This is bullshit." Excuse my language, but he's screaming obscenities. And I'm just like looking at him and I'm looking in there. I'm like, oh, this guy doesn't have anything that looks like weapon or bomb stuff. And something there, I thought to myself, okay, this guy, I got my answer. I was curious and I got my answer. This guy's probably crazy, like having such a bad day that he's going crazy. Plus, he's not like huge and big and muscular. Just kidding. That had nothing to do with it. But for some people, it might. They'd be like, whoa, this guy's huge and muscular. Let me get away, because they're afraid of that or whatever. Excuse me. And so recognizing that he's probably crazy, I'm like, all right, he's going to respond to external things. So I go, hey, cut that out. Like I start talking to him almost like a parent.
Jonathan! Peter!
I'm not mad at him.
Go to your room right now!
Yeah, you don't talk to the public like that. No, I didn't say that, but I remember exactly what I said there, but it was stuff like that. And he, reacted to it. He's a little, not really too much shaken up, because he was already very stressed out. And he just says like, "I'm sorry, I lost my wallet. I can't find my wallet." And so I realized he's really upset about his wallet and he's looking for it in his backpack. And, with him screaming, "I'm going to blow this place up," people took it like, probably some terror threat or something. And I don't remember a whole lot of the talk, but I did tell him that, I go, all right, well, maybe you'll find your wallet, but that's inappropriate to do that here. So we're going to go outside together. Let's go outside and bring your backpack. And he's like kind of on the verge of crying about not finding his wallet. And he's getting his backpack. He's just listening to orders, because he's out of his mind. He's kind of crazy. He's much more susceptible to listening to external things and just responding to them, because it's a lot easier to do that when you're stressed out or you're overwhelmed or you're not willing to feel how overwhelmed you are, or you're not willing to feel a lot of that stuff. Like, give me the external stimulus. I'm sick and tired of this internal stimulus. So I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm talking a little more gentle to him. And then the mother of 4 now behind me starts getting all like, yeah, that's right. You want to threaten my kids? I'll kill you. Right? She's like getting nuts. And I'm thinking, oh, God, lady, stop it. Because I just want to bring this guy outside. And now I can see he's not feeling too well, but she's scared. But now she's got a little bit of a power trip going on. So I bring him outside and he has his bike there. And I just was like, hey, all right, well, you got to leave this place, because, you're scaring people. And if you can't find your wallet, well, that sucks, but hopefully you find your wallet. And he's like practically not crying, but what's that called that dogs do when they're not crying? Whimpering. It's like whimpering. Yeah, he was like whimpering and he's just like listening to what I say, right? And I got what I wanted from McDonald's, so I just start leaving. I think it was like a small French fry. And I go to my vehicle and like I just turn around and like look at him. And he's already on the floor with cops piled on top of him. I'm like, damn, they were fast. Holy crap. My experience with cops takes forever. These guys are fast. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, I know how people are when they're like really scared. While they might not be making things up, they tend to get really inaccurate. I was like, let me go talk over there, the cops real quick. Yeah, I didn't have to, but I thought, I'd like to. I would surely hate it if somebody was turning the story into something much crazier, because then I want to feel their fear. And so I talked to the cop and he was asking me, hey, so we can't find a knife. Does this guy have a knife? People were saying that he was going to stab people and he was screaming that he had a knife. I'm like, no, he wasn't saying that. He was saying, I'm going to blow this place up. Was he saying I have a bomb? I'm like, no, he absolutely didn't say that. I brought him out here. I told him the whole story. So a lot of these people afraid that he's going to blow the place up. They said things like he had a bomb, which is, when you think about it, a very different story, and that he had a knife and he was threatening to stab people. And that's the end of the story. But there's a lot of reacting to external stimulus. And I used that to just get him out of there and talk to him and calm him down, because he was suffering.
Thank you for sharing that. I really enjoyed hearing it and listening to it. A few points come up for me is like communication and the detachment from like our feelings and how we communicate our needs. I thought it was pretty incredible that you remained calm. That someone said, "I have a bomb," and then you went into like an analytical mode of like, "Well, does
Well,
he? Like, what's
he didn't
going
say he
on?"
had a bomb.
So I'm gonna blow this place up,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Well, what's going on? Let me check this out." And you approached him and had a conversation, and then you very quickly found out that he was overwhelmed, stressed out, etc. And to me, I think this is like a very common thing for us, like to be feeling deeply in our pain and not being able to communicate it. And instead of saying something like, "I'm having a really tough day and I'm really frustrated," it comes out as, "I'm going to blow this place up."
Yeah.
And how that escalates and causes other issues for other people. So like one, that mom, then she's triggered and her response is, I forget what it is, like, what did she say?
She was like, "How dare you threaten my kids?" Something around that. And
Like, "I'll get you." It sounds like she was gonna
it was
get her.
very like, really what it was is her feeling scared and not knowing what to do. And then some man comes by and then, oh, I feel so safe. I got my addiction is safe, but I still feel scared and I don't want to feel that. So let me feel powerful. Like I didn't say anything to her or whatever. I just kind of ignored her and thought to myself, come on, lady, shut up. Like, I just want to get this guy out of here. He's having a hard time. And now you're bullying him.
Yeah. Like, here's a guy who's, maybe he's having the worst day of his life. He's doing a terrible job communicating. And something similar is happening to this woman, where, like, that was probably a really difficult experience for her. And she's stressed out, but she's also not communicating clearly in a way that's well received what's going on in her. And, like, yeah, she's probably afraid. Maybe she's appreciative of your actions. And instead, like, it has the potential of, like, what if this guy did have a bomb, or what if like he is at that point where he might be violent, and now she might be pushing him over the edge, even if he was calmed down. Like, I don't know, if someone has words like that toward me, like, it's easy to be triggered.
Yeah.
And then I think of like, okay, like further escalation, and now the police are called. They don't know what's going on. They hear someone's going to blow someplace off, and this guy's probably like, maybe he's in a calmer place now. Amazing that he had someone to come and start a de-escalation, but it's so easy to come in there like guns drawn, be aggressive, try to push someone into it, and that's not a. I see issues with that,
Yeah. It's
especially if
addictive,
they're,
ultimately.
yeah.
Addicted to being safe, addicted to be in control, addicted to being like a hero. And when you cut out the addictions as much as possible, you can be more productive.
Um,
You find the people that are less addictive are more productive what they're doing. But then, like everybody's addicted to many, many things and different things. But where they're not addicted, you'll find them being more productive.
I'm thinking of like this super skill, which I think is an incredible thing to have, to look beyond the words that people look beyond how people express themselves, and try to understand that. Uh, it
Try to understand what the
Sorry,
emotions or
understand what's going on with them, with their needs, their situation, to see, okay, this guy's just having a bad day. He has a wallet. He has a wallet that he's missing, and he's stressed out. And it's like, even though he's saying things that are really aggressive and threatening, um, it's not what's really going on with him. So I guess what comes to me then is like wanting to know more about your experiences like that, or what brought you there. Like, because I believe that, like, growing up, that wasn't taught to me. It's something that I've had to learn, and I wish I wish was like first grade through fifth grade is like practicing and mastering communication and emotions and understanding. From what I remember, it's not. So I am curious about, like,
Mhm.
what made you able, what brought you to the point where you're able to do that.
There were multiple exercises that I did, like emotional exercises that helped tremendously. I've never seen these written, just catch them here and there from different people talking about this. Be great if there'd be a book with it. One of them, this isn't the first one, but it was pretty close. One of them was like I had to look at needs differently, and this helped a lot. What helped a lot was to have the idea that whenever you have a need, right, like in English language, this is important English language. When you have a need, you also have an expectation, right? Like it's kind of obvious. However, when it comes to personal relationships and even your emotions, if you have like a need from someone, you have taken away their ability to give that thing to you. I'll explain and give you an example. So when you have these needs, you're unable to get gifts. Things are unable to be more loving, and you're holding yourself back from it. We're all holding ourselves back from it when we have needs. For example, and I love examples like this. I'm always going to give you an example that I find fun. For example, let's say I expect my wife to make me dinner. I'm not married, but I expect my wife to make me dinner every night. And I come home and dinner's not made yet. And I'm just frustrated because I have had this long day, just want my damn dinner. And she knows that. Well, I mean, having this expectation, this trade, it's taken all the love out of that transaction or that thing itself, because she can never give me dinner as a gift if I expect her to make dinner for me every day. She can never do that. I have taken the ability of a gift out of that. Sure, maybe she makes it more special or something and invites dancers, or I don't know. It's much better to not have like needs. You just have requirements, really. So that way, if you're telling your wife, look, I require dinner every day, you realize how much of a dick you sound like, or you might. That was something that helped me a lot, was just looking at the things that I needed, right? Like writing them all down. Like, you know what? Let's type out some needs. I mean, if I type out needs that I have, I'm not going to type out any. I might type out like, okay, the body needs oxygen. I end up talking about requirements. But what are like 3 things you'd say you need? Or maybe I can talk about 3 things that I used to need.
I guess before I go there, like I want to look at what you said, the requirements of coming home and having your wife making you dinner, and because you require that, it never becomes a gift and it takes away what you said was the love in it. Am I capturing that correctly?
Yeah, the expectation of it alone, it's like it's a demand, really, is what it is. You can't perceive it as a gift, and really, they can't give it as a gift.
And what comes to me is like judgment and appreciation. Like I think that I have the sense that you can still expect, like have a routine of someone cooking you dinner and have it still be enjoyable for both of them. But there's a difference when like there's a lack of appreciation or like blaming when it doesn't happen. It's like a disconnect of like if it didn't happen, like understanding that there's probably a reason why it didn't happen and just being able to connect with your partner.
Yeah, if you're expecting, like you'll see if you're expecting something and it doesn't happen. And when I say expecting, I am fully committed to someone like expecting, like they're looking forward to it. Like not so much looking forward to it, but it's like it's coming. Like the future hasn't happened yet, but they're like it's coming here. I'm excited about this. And when it doesn't happen, you pay attention to the feelings there. You might find disappointment, or you might find anger. You might find sadness. You're gonna find some emotion, and ultimately, that emotion is not gonna be true. Like you may be like, yeah, why am I feeling a little sad here? Just really let yourself feel it, and it'll help you. It help anyone. Help me. I just mean it'll help you, as in not you, but people. It's very helpful to if you have expectations, you have needs. Very helpful to pay attention emotionally how you feel when it's not met. Because ultimately, when you get down to the emotions, you won't have that need or expectation anymore. The emotions themselves, it's almost like they have a lot of information behind them about you, like issues or problems or things you believe that aren't true. And the emotions help you find things that you believe about yourself or others that aren't true. So when an expectation isn't met or a need isn't met, it's a good opportunity to get in touch with some feelings. And it's an excellent opportunity to find things you believe that aren't true, that are dictating your choices and making your life a little harder.
Or disconnecting you from the truth. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to like walk through what my experience would be. Like let's say it's Christmas dinner. You've asked your wife to make a Christmas feast. Everybody's coming at 6 p.m. and you all arrive at the same time. And then when you get there, she's in her pajamas watching TV. Dinner's not made. Like there's like some tortilla chips and salsa on the table, and that's it. And so like I'm trying to go like, well, what would come up to me?
Yeah. How
I
would you
think,
feel?
and I
I
think,
remember how I used to.
yeah, like let's both explore it. Like for me, the first thing that comes up is like blame and judgment and a disconnection with what's going on with them. Like it'd be like, Grandma's here and Aunt Janina, everybody's here and you haven't made dinner. Like I can feel like an immediate wanting to find fault instead of being like what's going on, like how did this happen? Because like I have expectation. I think expectations are reasonable. Like you make plans, but
Well,
just kind of
what's the consequence, for example, if the dinner's not ready and everybody's there on time? Like, is there a consequence?
well,
Like a lot of us will logically think about it and go, well, yes and no. There's a consequence of dinner being late, and then maybe we don't get to bed on time as much, or we don't have enough time to talk with each other. Like, you could list a ton of consequences. Like, I'll list some that I've experienced in the past, not necessarily with this kind of example, but it's still applicable. One would be, well, great, we're not going to have as much time together. And okay, I'm afraid we're not going to have as much time together. And I mean, really, how do you know how much? The truth is, you don't know how much time you need together, for one. The truth is also, there's plenty of time in the future. Somebody say, no, your aunt could die tomorrow. That's a different thing to resolve. So you'll find like this frustration and stuff just comes, like, if you really feel what you're frustrated about because dinner wasn't ready on time, you end up just finding that ultimately you have a lot of fears, and ultimately you have a lot of things that aren't true, but you're convinced they're true. So you gotta be willing to say, like, look, I think these things are true, but am I really right? How do I know? I can sit around and try to quantify things all day, or I can just feel these emotions that I've been avoiding. It's not easy. It takes consistently challenging yourself by feeling those emotions and saying, what do I believe here that's not true?
yeah, I'm with you. I think a lot of our thought are based on emotions, sort of what you were saying before. And so if we're thinking like, well, we won't have any time together, like they'll be at the root of that, and perhaps other layers as well,
Inevitably,
fear, judgment, etc.
inevitably, that frustration, dinner not being ready, is just a distraction we choose that helps us avoid feeling all those fears. Like, maybe that frustration looks like complaining about it, like, oh, it's not ready, we got to get it ready, or oh, it's not ready, I should have done it myself. See, mom, dad, don't punish me and tell me reality that maybe I should have done it myself. I'm already saying it before you did. I'm safe. Beat myself before they beat me.
Yeah.
But this whole talking and everything about that, like, oh, I should have done it myself, or oh, it's not ready yet, or oh, wait, what are we gonna do? Or let me take you to the side, woman. I'm really mad. Why the isn't it ready? It's just a
You
bunch
do
of
not disrespect me in front of my family ever again.
yeah, clothes hanger, or whatever those wrestling moves are called. But all of those actions are just a big distraction from avoiding feeling. It's a big tool we use to avoid feeling those emotions, and there's incredible information behind those emotions.
I'm gonna blow this place up. Like it's the same thing, maybe
I
on
feel
a less
powerful
extreme
finally.
level.
I mean, that guy, maybe, I don't know his emotional situation, but I would guess, how powerless does he feel that he doesn't have his wallet again, or he lost it? He's powerless to buy some McDonald's. And maybe he feels that way. Well, and then he just feels stronger by like yelling out loud. He's like, yeah, see, I can do that. You know what? I could blow this whole place up. I'm powerful as shit. I'm not this weak little thing that doesn't have my wallet. This is like a big lie. It's like, all right, well, if you're really so upset that you don't have your wallet, like, maybe you're afraid, oh, how am I gonna get into the strip club without my ID? Or you're afraid, damn, I can't buy cigarettes too. Or you're afraid somebody's gonna use your bank cards, or you're afraid now you're gonna have less time because you got to get that stuff back. Okay, that's fine. Those are valid, right? They're valid, but but there's no need to avoid those, or it's less efficient. It's less happy for yourself to avoid those feelings and just start screaming how you're going to blow a place up. It's less efficient to feel that power and all those things. Like, when I say less efficient, I mean it's just making you more distant from your happiness, which is getting your wallet back, or getting those things back, or whatever your happiness is. These angers, these frustrations, these constantly having so many tactics to run away from our emotions, they just distance us even more from being happy and getting a good goal.
It makes me want to move. I know we're running out of time soon. The distancing, the less efficiency, and how in a relationship, if you see this happening, how you act.
It's about, I don't know, but a great majority of the time I do act like this, I'm about to explain. And it's taken nearly 10 years to get to that point. It's hard. So
And
you
I
gotta,
guess I want to
yeah.
clarify, like how when your partner acts in a inefficient way, meaning they're not as connected to their emotions as you like or as you can see. how do you receive and react to them? Is my question.
Yeah, well, that's their choice to do that. But in the past, you know, those all those reactions would be internal. Different emotions would pop up, and the best thing to do is just let yourself feel them. Don't get in the way by talking. You can listen and feel your emotions at the same time. Maybe not always, but it's an opportunity to feel those. It's an opportunity to feel those emotions. It might sound a little too simple, but it works tremendously. And you find this emotional pattern. You feel your emotions more. So if someone's being really inefficient or screaming or something like that, how I react today is completely different. And it changed because I took more. It changed because more and more over time, as these things kept happening, I would just let myself like be aware of how I felt emotionally. Maybe I have an adrenaline rush. I'm just sitting there like, whoo, feels a bit hot right now. And just with feeling it, it helped me like, those feelings had things in it. Like, you are afraid of this. You are afraid something's going to happen. Well, what the heck am I afraid of is going to happen?
Nice. I love that. So just connecting, not trying to change them, but just prioritizing your connection with yourself and how you feel.
Yeah. And you can make significant progress by doing that as much as possible. Like you're not always gonna get it right the way you want or something, but the more you do it consistently every day, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to work on this every single day. There's always something that's triggering you. Like in God's universe, there's always something triggering you to help expose emotions in you so that you can develop from that constantly. You're going to get triggered multiple times a day. If you don't think you're triggered multiple times a day, you're just unaware of it. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities to feel that. And plenty of times, we're not going to feel it because we don't want to, but then at least we become aware, oh, I don't want to feel that at all. So just with consistency, you just keep learning. So
I,
it's needs and expectations that help me tremendously with that by focusing on my needs or my expectations.
I want to ask more questions, but I think we're out of time. So I wanted to offer you a moment to say whatever you want to our audience.
Cool. Well, I don't. Yeah, I see. I mean, this has helped me so much that I really wanted to help like other people too. I would have loved to have run into this much sooner in life, but go ahead and just write down all the things you need, like in a relationship, or all the things you need at your work or something like that. Whatever it is, just pick a topic: relationship, work, podcast, and write down the things you need. Right now, after you write them down, just make a list. After you write them down, I don't know if this exercise is going to work as well now that you know the answer, but after you write them down, look at them and realize that's all the stuff you're addicted to right there, written down on a list. Now, if you want to see the magic of that happen, ask somebody else to write down their needs. And when they're done writing down their needs, then tell them those are all the things you are addicted to and just see how they react. But also do
Nice.
that for yourself. Make those lists and recognize, okay, this is what I'm addicted to. And by addiction, all that is meant is these are the devices that I'm using and giving them need status, giving them expectation status, because it does a damn good job at helping me avoid my emotions.
Thank you for that. I don't know if you can hear me, but like I think my camera froze because I don't see myself on my feed anymore. Are
Nice.
you able to see me?
You disappeared.
I'm sitting right in front of my camera, and it's just my chair.
What are you
Like,
sitting in front of your camera?
what has happened to my body? I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe when you got up, you actually died, and I'm talking to you in spirit form.
this is pretty
Just
intense.
kidding.
This is my new life now. Well,
Cool.
I want to
Thanks.
express some appreciation for coming on. I really enjoyed connecting and hearing your stories, and definitely. Well, I always enjoy resonating with people and understanding how we become disconnected with our emotions and how we often communicate. So thank you for coming on and having this conversation with me.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you for being my friend and talking with me.
Thank you for being my friend and talking with me.
Cool. All right, I expect us to talk at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Just kidding.
Every day.
Make a list, man. Make a list. Let me know how that goes. I'll take a stab at making a list. But I've done this a lot of times, but there's definitely still stuff. I just got to find it. See you, man.
I'm going to end the recording here.